I'm Heather Briggs of My So Quilty Life. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are having a tutorial for the Flower Shop Block of the Month. We are talking all about month 4, block 8. So this is the second block walkthrough tutorial for month 4. So I'm so happy you can join me. Let me show you really quick where block 8 is in the quilt. I have my quilt back. I'm so excited to have my quilt back. But let me show you exactly where it's at. So block 8, month 4, block 8 is the little watering can in the bottom of the door. So I'm going to lift this up so you can see it, but you'll be able to see it when I lift it up. So there is block 8 of month 4. We are just making this adorable little watering can that goes in the bottom of the door. So cute. Okay, so in order to make this block, you do need your month 4 pattern. And if you are new here and wondering what the Flower Shop Block of the Month is, I encourage you to go to my website at mysoquiltylife.com. Hit the fabric tab, and then it'll drop down and you will see Flower Shop BOM, and it'll give you all the details. It's not too late to join. There are still plenty of kits left and patterns. If you want to sew from your stash, you can jump in and make all the blocks if you're really good in about a weekend or in a week. It doesn't take too long. The blocks do have just a lot of little pieces, but they go together easily, as you're gonna see in this video. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my top camera and we are gonna get started making the adorable little watering can block. Not sure if I said watering can. I might have said flowering can. It's a watering can block. Okay, I'm gonna go to the top camera. Okay, hey, here we are in the top camera. So as in most of my videos lately, I have gone ahead and made a few of the units just so we can talk about what's going on and you're not having to see the entire block. And then you're also not sitting here for an hour-long tutorial, me going over all of the little pieces, but we will walk through all the steps. But this is where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and open my pattern. Now for block 8, you want to flip to page 4. So page 4 is the start of block 8. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and cut out all your fabrics. You're going to do step 1, which is drawing a diagonal line, or if you're like me, you don't draw a diagonal line on the back of your fabric. You actually use diagonal seam tape, which works great. So now you're going to meet me at step 2. Okay, so let's go on. Sorry for talking so fast. Okay, so for step 2, we are making these units right here, these little petals. Now, what I want to say before I begin making this flower, if you are nervous and you don't feel like I'm giving you such a detailed step-by-step tutorial, I do have a new series on YouTube, which is called How I Would Approach It. This is actually the block from video 1. So before you get started in this, if you're like, Heather, I really wish I had a little bit more instruction, video instruction, because you have the pattern instructions, which are already great. But if you are a visual learner and need to see a video, head on over. It's in my YouTube log of videos. If you look at playlist, it should be How I Would Approach It series. How I Would Approach It series. And this is video 1. We only have one video right now. I'm about to upload our second video, which is a different flower block that people struggle with. But if you really need more video instruction, head on over and watch that and then meet me back here. Okay, so for step 2, we are just making this little petal unit right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your fabric M and you're going to have your fabric U squares. And you're just going to assemble those onto the corner as they show in the pattern instructions. You are going to make 4 of those because we just have one flower, you need 4. Okay, moving on to step 3, we're making this centerpiece right here. This is the O unit. You need 1 fabric O, which is that yellow fabric in the middle, and you need 4 fabric ends. The ends should match the flower petals. You're doing the same thing, but this time you're doing all 4 corners. Simple, simple. Now we're going to move on to step 4. So for step 4, we're putting this little flower unit together. What we need are our fabric R squares, so these 4 squares right here in the corners. You need 4 M units, so our M units are these little petals. You need 4 of those, and you need 1 O unit. And what you're going to do first, you're going to pay close attention to those black arrows. Those black arrows are the pressing instructions throughout the pattern, but when they have a number, that also indicates your sewing order for assembly. So what you're going to do first is you're just going to assemble these squares, these R squares, to one of your units here. Then you're going to assemble your units to that middle unit, and same down here, right here. Then you're going to assemble those together and press open. Easy peasy. Like I said, if you need more instruction, head on over to video 1 of how I would approach it. Okay, so moving on to step 5 is basically where I am at here. So for step 5, you're just assembling your 2 fabric T rectangles first to the sides of your flower unit, and then 1 fabric S and 1 fabric Q. Now, don't do what I did when I first made my quilt. I accidentally didn't do this. I didn't have this Q piece cut correctly, and I had 2 S's. So just make sure the bottom, especially if you're using directional fabric, that the bottom is fabric Q. You'll see it's a little thicker than fabric S up here. So that's my warning. Don't do what I did. I had to take my whole block apart because when I tried to assemble it, it wouldn't work. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. Now we're going to move on to step 6. So I'm going to get this guy here. So for step 6, so just imagine this is in here. So for step 6, you need 1 fabric P square, this fabric P right here, and you need 1 fabric G square right here. All you're doing is assembling fabric G to the top left corner of your fabric P and pressing. Okay, the next part is assembling right here, this little unit up here, which is our E unit. You need 1 fabric E, so right here, this low volume right here is fabric E, it's a square. And then you need 1 fabric X, which is actually, if you see, you're making that handle or the spout of the watering can. So you need to assemble your fabric X at the bottom left corner of fabric E and press. Now moving on to 8 and 9, steps 8 and 9 here, you have your fabric A, which just right here down here, this is fabric A and V. You are assembling your fabric V square to the top right corner of fabric A and pressing. And then moving on to step 9, you're taking this A unit, which should just have these 2 fabrics, and you are attaching fabric I square to the top right corner. Once you have done that, moving on to step 10, you are just taking your A unit, your P unit, and your E unit. So let me walk those through. This is your P unit right up here, okay? This is your E unit right up here, and this is your A unit. You're just assembling those together. Now, you will assemble those 2 together first, like it says in the pattern with the pressing arrow with the number. Then you're assembling this. Now, you need to pay close attention when you are assembling this. This is supposed to be a continuous line, so those seams should nest perfectly. Let me kind of raise that up a little bit for you to see. It's kind of hard because of the tone of my fabric, but you really want these to line up as close as possible when you are making this. So now I have my watering unit, and I'm going to set her aside. The next thing we're going to be doing is essentially making our handle unit, but we've got a couple of steps before that. You're first going to be making your Z unit. Now, your Z unit, let me get that to stay down, it's just this piece right here. So you have 1 fabric Z, which is this tan piece, this vertical rectangle here, and 1 fabric L. You're just assembling that fabric L to the top right corner and pressing out. Next, you're making the W unit right down here. You're assembling your fabric W, which is this brown piece. You should have a whole square, and you're assembling your fabric B square to the bottom right corner and pressing towards fabric B for your W unit. Step 13, you are now assembling your fabric E square to the top left corner. This is what you should have right here, right here. This is what it should look like in step 13. For step 14, we are assembling all this together, but first you need fabric AA right here, fabric D, you need your Z unit, which is right here, your Z unit, and you need your W unit. Now, you're going to see your arrows with the numbers, so you are assembling these 2 pieces, so this one and this one, so fabric AA and DD. After you've done that, you're assembling your fabric. After that, you're assembling your Z unit to that. Then you're assembling your W unit. Now again, you want to make sure that those align good right there. Right there is a point you want to make sure aligns correctly. Okay, now we can move on to step 15. So for step 15, you need your fabric Y, which is just this tan portion right here. And you need your fabric L square, and you're just attaching that fabric L square at the top right corner and pressing. Then moving on to 16, which is where I'm at here, you're assembling your fabric K and your fabric J to your Y unit. Okay, so that's where I am. So now I can move on to step 17 with you and walk you through how to put this block together, the rest of it, which it's no different than what we've done before. Okay, so I'm gonna lay it out in step 17 how the pattern instructions look. So if you remember, you wanna make sure that thicker fabric, I wanna say it's fabric Q down at the bottom, but I could be wrong. You're gonna have your spout, your little watering unit there, and your handle unit here. Now, I might be calling them incorrect things. And then you're going to need your fabric H, which is smaller than fabric F. It's skinnier. And fabric F will go on the left. Okay, so now I'm gonna walk you through what we do here. So we've got some numbers. So let's look at our numbers. It looks like number 1, here, let's just separate all these. Number 1 is telling us to assemble these pieces together first, right here. Then step 2 is telling us to assemble our handle unit, okay? Step 3 is telling us to assemble this. And as you can see, this should align in your pattern. This should align, these seams should align, and they will nest right here. So this watering can should, this edge of the watering can should line up with that piece up there. After you've done that, then you assemble F and H. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that so then we can move on to step 18 and get this block finished up. Okay, I just got done assembling all of that together. It looks great. I've got all of these pieces assembled. So now we're gonna move on to step 18. So for step 18, it is super simple. You're just assembling your fabric C rectangles to the top and bottom. Oh my goodness, this looks so cute. I love this low volume for the back of this watering can. Just darling. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and assemble fabric C to the top and bottom. Then we'll be moving on to step 19, which is the final step of this block. Okay, so we might look like we are all done, but we have one last step. And this one's totally up to you. This watering can fits within that little door. And just to add a couple little accents on the door, we are gonna add these fabric BB squares to the corners of our block. And now once they are assembled and pressed open, it gives us that little detail on the door. It kind of feels like a screen door and I just love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble those, and then when I get back, I'm gonna show you my final block. Okay, I just finished up with block 8 and it is so stinking cute. Okay, so here is my little watering can. This watering can again sits in the bottom of the door and just add something cute to it. I just love how this turned out. I love the low volume that I used, and I'm so excited about this print I'm doing for the door. It's from the Strawberry Lemonade collection by Sheri and Chelsi. It's this like gingham. I love it. Love it so much. Okay, so here is my block. I hope you have just as much fun making block 8 as I did. I can't wait to see your blocks on social media. So please remember to use the hashtag Flower Shop BOM on social media, and don't forget to tag me also so I can see everything, because sometimes there's a lot going on with the hashtag and we no longer can sort by newest or most recent in Instagram on the hashtag. Don't know if you knew that, but you can still follow it and stuff like that and see when others post in the hashtag, but I no longer can go to the most recent to see what the most recent is. So if you can tag me at My So Quilty Life, then I can see yours pop up and then I can share it like in my stories so everybody else can see it as well. So again, I hope you enjoyed this. I really hope you're enjoying the Flower Shop Block of the Month as much as I am. Again, if you're new and have no idea what that is, go ahead and check out that on mysoquiltylife.com, the fabric tab, Flower Shop BOM, because I would love to have you join with that. Because I would love to have you join in. We do lots of fun little goodies. We got tutorials, Zoom meetups, just so much fun. I'm so excited about it. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, guys.